Greetings. Thank you for tuning in to Inmates for Change. My name is Jones. I am the founder CEO of the 501c3 not-for-profit Inmates for Change. Our motto is breaking the bondage of destructive thinking. What we do at Inmates for Change is we offer a 12-week curriculum that's based around a classroom environment for critical thinking, spiritual connectedness, self-image, behavior modification, vocational training, as well as interpersonal skills, and we follow all of that up through some critical thinking with analytical thinking and short goal accomplishment and long-term planning. What I want to do tonight is offer a guest of mine. This is Mr. James Peak Jr. Mr. Peak is a youth mentor with justice-involved males aged 14 to 21. And what we're going to do tonight in this discourse is we're going to discuss some of the things that Mr. Peak does working with youth who are, again, justice involved, which means that they are part of the prison industrial complex or at-risk or in-risk youth. And we're going to learn some stuff tonight. So, first of all, let me welcome you. Thank you, Mr. Peak, for showing up.
You're welcome.
He's kind of stiff tonight, y'all. You know, we don't.
Thanks, you, Jones.
You gonna relax now? Just
yes.
All righty, great. I'm going to get right into it so that we can get it started in all seriousness because we've got a short time with a lot of information. Tell us briefly what your organization does and what's your role there.
I work for a non-for-profit organization.
You might want to speak up a little bit.
I work for a non-for-profit organization that's been around for a number of years. That actually does services in the Cook County Jail, the Northern Department of Corrections, and within the community and justice-involved youth. We do youth mentoring, case management, workforce training, life skills, behavior modification, things of that nature.
Okay, so we basically do around the same type of work in our different arenas up under the same industry.
Correct.
So that's great because I heard critical thinking, I heard planning, I heard interpersonal self-image.
Correct.
Spiritual connectedness, did you just say that? Or God consciousness,
yes.
did you all offer that as well?
Yes.
Well, that's great, man. It's good to hear that we've got some individuals who are out there reaching some of the younger members of our community to at least give them some of the building blocks for what they're going to need to get them going. Now, I'm going to ask my producer if they can hear you, and then let's have you speak up a little bit. It'll be easier for her to motion you down than it will be to keep pulling you up. So just keep that in mind, okay? How did you get introduced to the social services industry?
Well, I actually started 2001 as a volunteer. I was asked to come speak to some young guys for another not-for-profit organization, and I was bitten by the bug, so to speak. They liked me, and a position was offered to me, and I took it.
Okay.
The rest is history, and that's kind of what has motivated me from there.
So along the lines of credentialing, are you certified?
Yes, I'm certified by the state of Illinois.
And what
as
are
a
you?
substance abuse counselor.
Substance abuse counselor. That's great. This is good to know. Good stuff. Those of you who will be interested in joining our conversation, we're at 312-738-1060. Let me repeat that. 312-738-1060. Let me just take a short time to plug us as well, Mr. Peak. Well, those of you who would like to get in touch with us during the week, Monday through Friday, 9:30 a.m. until 3:30 p.m., you can reach us at 773-746-3075. Our website is inmatesforchange.org. And of course, we accept our email at inmatesforchange@gmail.com. Getting back to you who are our viewers, we've got Mr. James Peak Jr., the youth mentor for justice-involved males ages 14 to 21, as a guest on the show tonight. So, Mr. Peak, what are the things from your experiences that are needed to curb the violence in the community?
Being able to recognize and value self, first of all, which means, diminish the self-hate, to value yourself, to be able to see your strong points, to be able to see what's good about your community, to be able to understand this, it's okay to express yourself and accept kindness. You know, young people, they like to see things. You can't just tell them something. They're visual.
So are you saying they need to see things as way of a mentor or big brother type of individual who's showing leadership skills and that kind
Absolutely, they need personal engagement,
Mhm.
what I would call it. You know, they need to be able to be heard. They need that one-on-one. You know, and I think that's what's missing. That, you know, they're not valid. They don't think their voice matters. You know, too often people tell them what they should do. They need to be heard, but you have to also be able to show them.
Okay, okay. You know, I can remember back in the time when I was coming up, we had a cohesive community. The word that was going around was the community raising the child, or the African proverb, the village raising the child, you know. And a lot of us were raised in single female head of household families. And with that, we had a pick from the immediate community, some of our local heroes, you know, as we were going through this journey from like being a child to preteen to adolescent and then young adult and then into full-blown adulthood.
Correct.
You know, and I noticed from where I've been seeing, because I'm in the trenches all the time, and I see that we don't have, for the most part, now I'm not saying in all cases, so before you all start calling in, chopping us up, we don't have a lot of influential individuals leading our youth in the right direction. Now, that's not to say that it's not happening, because I know hundreds of organizations as well as organizational executives that are doing this type of work every day, and they're not being shown a spotlight on them, and the media is not covering it and that kind of thing. But those who they're affecting and helping in empowerment as well as motivating, those are the ones who know. So when I hear you say that a child or our youth needs to be shown, they need the visual. They need to see you walking the walk. They need to see you talking the talk.
Correct.
Okay.
You must be able to model the behavior. You know, you have to be a positive example. And first and foremost, you have to be genuine in what you do, because, you know, young people have a way of picking up on if you're not genuine.
Yeah, what they call that in the street. Being bogus, right?
Yeah, they have a way.
Okay, well, let's take a moment. We're going to take a caller right now. Caller, please tell us who you are and state your question or your comment loud enough so we can hear you. Go right ahead. Caller? Okay, let's keep things moving. So, along the lines of helping a youth become integrated into this new awareness of self-love and this type of thing, what types of opportunities does your positioning offer for an individual coming through? What do you do personally? Now, I don't want to know the industry's standard. How does James Peak Jr. reach a justice-involved youth?
Well, you have to, first of all, you have to build a rapport.
You might want to put that on the I concept.
I build a personal rapport.
All right, there
You
we
know,
go.
as first impression means the most.
Okay.
You could win them, or you could lose them in your first appearance. You know, when you first make contact, and you got to be able to let them understand and give them the power.
Okay.
You got to allow them to make their own decision and be able to give them the information so they can make a decision. But you also got to be able to recognize and understand, have empathy to know where they're at that point. In other words, you got to be able to meet them where they're at.
Okay. That sounds like a teaching moment. I think I asked him to use the I concept, and he went back to you need to be doing, of course.
Well, that's the way, that's my approach.
I'm messing with
That's
you,
my
man.
approach, you know, and you know, it's successful because, you know, I think for the most part, we have to always understand that even though a young man might be, say he's 17, he's emotionally, he's probably 13.
Yes, sir.
And he's thinking
Yes,
from
sir.
an adolescent
Yes, sir.
mindset.
Yes, sir.
So you have to constantly give them reminders. You have to constantly reinforce positive, you know, behavior. Anything good, they need to hear it
Okay.
constantly.
There you go. There you go. And I know that I teach repetition all the time on the show. You know, I gave an example in a previous show. We did not learn our alphabets the first time we heard them or we went through them. Let's take a call. I believe we got the caller through now. Caller, tell us who you are, what your contribution is, or your question.
Yes, my name is Lenny.
Lenny?
Yes,
Hey, Lenny.
my question is, do y'all have any programs for people that's homeless, that's looking for jobs? Um,
Are you still there?
y'all talk in.
Lenny?
Yes, I'm still here.
Okay. It sounds like we're getting what we call a feedback back there, like your TV is on a little too loud, and that's where you're hearing that echo in your phone. I think I got your question, though, and it's a good question. Your question is, do we have any programs for the homeless people as well as the empowerment of an individual who is coming into the program? Now, Mr. Peak, either one of us could answer that question, but I'm going to let you go first as you're my esteemed guest so that we can finally get this information across, and then I can let them know what Inmates for Change does as well.
Well, unfortunately, the organization that I'm employed at, we don't have any programs for homeless people as of right now.
Okay. Now, on my side of the fence with Inmates for Change, yes, we do offer linkage for a homeless individual. You may be living in a shelter or you're heading toward a shelter, but you can still be a candidate for the programs that we offer at Inmates for Change. Let me give you that number so that you can give us a call tomorrow and have one of my staff give you a little short purview of what we do there. We can be reached at 773-746-3075. Again, Lenny, 773-746-3075. You would call that number if you decided to between 9:30 a.m. and 3:30 p.m. Monday through Friday. Also, you can email if you decide to do that at inmatesforchange@gmail.com. So again, the number is 773-746-3075, and the email is inmatesforchange@gmail.com. Mr. Peak, is it okay with you if we take another call?
Sure.
Sure, okay, great. Caller, tell us who you are and what your comment or your question is.
Hi, my name is Tyrone.
Hey, Tyrone.
I have a question. What role does the parents and the family play in this? Have they already lost out when they get to this stage? When I say parent, I mean mother and father. I mean brothers and sisters.
Okay.
I mean aunts and uncles.
Now, that's a great question, and
Great question.
I'm going to let you field that because I'm sure his question is toward justice involving youth, as well, actually males. Go ahead.
Well, in my experience, a lot of the parents, unfortunately, there's a lot of single parenting households. And unfortunately, a lot of times the mother has to work and she's drained emotionally. You know, it takes away from your parenting, your one-on-ones. And a lot of times, a lot of the parents that I have interacted with are looking for a solution. They're looking for help to, you know, to help get their sons on the right path. So it's, you know, and the brothers and sisters, it's like the oldest brother is the leader in the house, so the younger sibling is modeling what he sees his older brother do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You follow me? So,
Yes.
Now, on my side of the fence with Inmates for Change, we offer the opportunity for the concerned parent or a loved one, because I particularly work with adults. So 18 and over are the people that we service. Now, those individuals, even though they're young adults, may have someone in the home who's supportive of them trying to do the right thing. And when those individuals are successful candidates for our programs, we do invite them in to go through some of the role playing that we offer with our critical thinking and interpersonal skill curriculums. So I hope that answered your question, Tyrone, right? So,
Yes, it does answer my question, but I would think the family would play a much earlier role in the child's life. I think there's a lot of positive things out here, even for working parents. Although I know you said parents, single mothers, but everyone has a father who should be somewhat involved in the child's life. But there's a lot of positive things that you can influence a child with.
That's true.
And I just
Right.
think, I just hopefully the parents could get your help, and that's a good thing. And I thank you for your answer.
No problem, and thanks again for checking in
Thank
as
you.
well as tuning in. Here's the thing on that as well, to just piggyback on the conversation from Tyrone. There are programs that are available where parents can get involved with the curriculum, the nurturing, the support linkage to a wayward child or one who's caught up in the justice system. So keep it. I'm going to show our a number again in a little bit, and you can give me a call, and maybe I can help you provide you with some linkage toward other organizations that specifically do that type of work on a continual basis. We've got another call on the line, Mr. P.
Let's go for it.
Let's go for it. Caller, tell us who you are. Speak a little loud so we can hear you, and what your comment or question is. Hello? Okay. I think we're experiencing some type of difficulties with the phone lines.
Hello?
Hi.
Hello?
Hello?
Hey, Mr. Jones.
Hey.
This is Steve. How you doing?
Hey, Steve.
Great. And I'm sorry I've been listening to your show for a little while, but I was glad that I caught it today.
Okay.
I want to respond to where the young lady is in the house taking care of her family, working hard. And you hear it a lot, and I always ask, where is your father? Where's the grandfather? Where's the brother? Where is some kind of male in your family?
Yes.
And 9 out of 10, they bring in a man in the family, the boyfriend. He don't have he can't take care of himself. He's not giving no information to the boy that's in the family. He don't have no business there. So sometimes women got to watch and make sure that they bring in the right person into their house. We living in a sad situation here, and if kids don't get a chance to speak to people, and especially let me tell you, it's just like a minister. How can you preach something you've never been through something?
That's true.
So you try to look for somebody who's been through something.
Now, let me say this to you, Steve, on that. That's a great question and comment, which leads me to want to just get in front on this one right here. The thing is, when you've got a female head of household, or even a male head of household, and they're trying to introduce a new acquaintance into the fold because they know how desperately needed a positive role model or an individual who's at least having a positive or productive lifestyle somewhere close to their own kids. The thing is this, if they're not in a position to learn how to discern between an individual. My wife says it all the time, that some of the trouble that we have with our younger women is that they're too quick to want to fall in love with an individual who shows an interest in them, and that's true to a certain extent. But you've got to be able to learn how to discern the individual who's in front of you that's trying to impress you or impress upon you, them being an eligible individual to become part of the extended family that you're trying to bring them into. And this goes on to a whole lot of other stuff right now. But the one thing I do promise you is this, Steve, what we're going to do in future shows is that we're going to cover the relationship component as well, because we do that with Inmates for Change. But tonight's show...
I've been checking you out. I've been hearing about you. You're a heck of a guy. And that's what people need. Again, you remember what I said. You got a story, so you could tell somebody about something.
Yes, sir.
See, instead of telling somebody about something they have heard or read, it's nice to have somebody who's been through it. But again, all that adds to one thing with a female. You better take the fire. Worry about the fire in the house. Put it out. And then you could go ahead and resume with your life. Other part I want to ask you, did you ever get into our friend Castro, if you know what I'm talking about? You remember that? Over downtown?
I'll talk to you off camera, Steve. I just recognized your voice. I just right then, I just recognized who you are. I'll talk to you right off camera, because right now what we're working with is my guest and his work that he does with justice involved males ages 14 to 21. But I promise you, Steve, you'll hear from me today.
Keep up the work, yeah?
Thank you. So you will hear from me after the show. I promise you that. Thanks for tuning in, and keep up the viewership.
All right, then.
You know, when I hear that, Mr. Peak, I get to talk. We get to speaking with individuals, and they call, and they've got some great stuff that they want to add. And this is not a one answer fix to just rectify the whole situation. There are
Absolutely.
so many components,
Absolutely.
and each one of those have an A, B, and C in them, if not all the way down to a W or an X or a
Absolutely,
Y.
Jones.
So it doesn't just, you know, well, we need to have a woman who's not, and this is not saying anything disrespectful to you, Steve, but we need to have the people who are in the play, they need to be able to do such and such. Well, if they haven't been taught that, you know, when we look back at the experiences that our own parents went through, we wonder why and how they got through, you know, and then they were just dealing with all our parents and our parents before them. Every generation, the parents want their children to do better than them. Correct. Even the most affluent families want their children to either carry the business on to a further or a new horizon, or they want the children to branch out on their own and become just as successful or more. And this is a learning thing. There's another African proverb, Pete, and it says, the ruin of a nation begins in the home of its people. Yeah. So we've got to learn how to do this stuff.
You know, Jones, you said something that was key. Repetitiveness, repeating. You know, you have to reinforce it.
Yes.
If I could use that word, you have to. You know, young people, just people, period, in general in our community, they have to hear things over and over. You know, you have some communities.
You got to stay consistent.
The conversation of college is brought up consistently.
Yes.
You know.
And expectations.
Expectations.
For you to go.
You know, it's so many, again, like you said, so many components to this. So many, you know, areas.
Yeah, it's not just a black and white kind of thing, and it's just not like the ABC or 1, 2, 3 kind of thing. These are intricacies where individuals and minds and humans are being involved. This is not just a inanimate product, you know, like this phone that I'm holding in my hand. If you do such and such to it, it's going to give you a desired result. It doesn't happen like that. We're going to take another call right quick. Caller, tell us who you are and what your comment is. Caller?
Hi, I'm Kyla.
Hey, Kyla.
I'm calling to tell my granddad how proud I am of him.
Ain't that something? Hey.
Hey, my intelligent, beautiful granddaughter.
That's the family.
Granddaddy
That's
is
the
proud
family
of you.
unit working. That is so good. Kyla? Did you want to say anything else?
And I support you in everything you do.
That is so nice. That's sweet.
Thank you.
You're doing something good, man, because it's shining through the children. That's great. This is your granddaughter that just called, right? Oh, man. Okay. Now, Kyla, we're going to move on right quick because we're running close to the end of the show. Mr. Peak, I just wanted to ask you, we might get a chance to ask another question, but I'm going to take a chance and ask another question. Sure. Now, we've got about 2 or 3 minutes, but my question for you is, what are your long-term goals professionally? What do you hope to possibly add to or improve in the industry?
Well, my long-term goal is to create a mentoring program that's different from any other, that's focused on values, more set the appreciation of things that you get. You know, we can get a job. You know, it's a bunch of programs out there that teach job training, workforce, but unfortunately, a lot of these individuals who go through these programs do not sustain what they get. To teach them, to give them the mindset, and not, you know, to be able to look at what's really important, other than just money.
Okay.
You know, to be able to grab something, if I may use it, and hold it and appreciate it. Because when you learn how to appreciate something, it's a tendency that you're going to maintain it and keep it.
Absolutely. Well, that brings us to the close of this segment. And what I want to do is, again, thank you, Mr. Peak. Mr. Peak is the youth mentor for justice-involved males ages 14 to 21. This was a very enlightening and informative show tonight. I really appreciate you coming through. I also want to say this program has been made possible in part by support from the mobile doc. Now, those of you who had a chance to call in, thank you for your calls, and we really appreciate the viewership, and we're growing as we go. So what I'm going to do in this little time that I do have is say thank you for tuning in, and good night.